Hello there. Welcome to Mindset Talk with me, your host, Jabu Zwani. Now, Mindset Talk is a podcast that is based on a framework that I have developed that is called Mindset Solutions Framework. Now, Mindset Solutions help people to understand what are mindsets, how do mindsets form, what is the function of mindsets in our lives, and how can be able to create the kind of mindsets that can help you to build the life that you'd like to live. Now, wouldn't you like to have a meaningful contribution on how your life turns out? Imagine how fantastic it would be if you can think of practical steps on how to build the life that you want to live and be able to apply those steps in a way that benefits what you are aiming to achieve. Now, the sad reality is that most of us don't realize that mindsets are building all the time around us. Mindsets, simply put, are just categories of thoughts that come into our minds, which is our faculty of thinking. And when they come into our minds, they get arranged in these various categories, helping us to think and make sense of what's going on in our lives. Now, as human beings, we are thinking beings. We are constantly thinking thousands and thousands of thoughts at a time. There are billions and billions of thoughts that are being projected at us throughout our lives. And thankfully, we have this amazing faculty, this powerful engine room that is able to arrange our thoughts while we're not even aware that that is what's happening. Now, the great thing about that is that we don't have to work too hard to learn, but we are constantly learning. And this is a wonderful thing. Imagine if you had to deliberately go through a process of learning everything that you need to learn for your life. That would be an impossible task given our limitations as human beings. But for some amazing reason, we have this powerful tool that is called the mind that is connected to this powerful tool that is called the brain that connects to the rest of our body. And that this automatic process that is taking place, and most of the time it is happening without us being aware. This is a positive thing, as I've mentioned. But also, it is a concerning thing. It is a concerning thing in the sense that there are constantly thoughts coming into our mind which may not necessarily have a place in our lives, especially when we look at what we're trying to achieve. Now, if you think about the fact that most of the information that we're receiving on a daily basis, in terms of the media that we're consuming, what we're seeing, what we're hearing on the radio, what we're reading in the newspapers, what we're watching on television, is negative. What that means is that so much of the structure of our thinking is built on negativity, which means that we are wired to process negativity more than we are wired to process positivity. That basically means that we respond more towards what's negative than we do to that which is positive. Now imagine if you're trying to build something for yourself. That requires a lot of positive energy. That requires a lot of positive thinking. Now, what happens if you have a structure that is built to process and to respond more to that which is negative? Can you imagine the consequences of that in your own life? This is the reason why when we start things in our lives, we end up stopping them. You start the process of trying to lose weight and you stop somewhere in the middle. You start the process of studying and getting that degree and you stop in the middle. It is said that in South Africa, less than half of students who start at grade 1 don't make it to grade 12. And even more concerning, less than half of those who go to university level or post high school education also don't make it past the final year. I mean, when I was working in the call center as a call center manager, we had a very high attrition. Now, of course, the call center industry in itself has a nature of having a high turnover for staff. But a lot of the times, people just could not stay the course. And the reason why we're not able to finish up and we're not able to see through what we think is important in our lives is because of the negativity that is coming through at us on a daily basis, contributing to negative mindsets, which hold us back, which put us in cages, and constantly intercept all of our efforts to try and change our lives. Now, Mindset Solutions is precisely designed to help you to identify those negative mindsets which hold you back. It's a very simple process where once you are aware and you understand how mindsets are constantly building in your mind all the time without you being aware of it, then how you can be able to come up with practical ways of assessing, analyzing, rationalizing, and identifying the kind of mindsets that you want to influence your life and to have an impact on your life, so that when you start these journeys of trying to change your life, you don't find yourself out of breath, out of thought, out of motivation, out of inspiration, and just end up falling flat on your face, not being able to carry through most of the important things that you want to carry through in your own life. I think most of us can be able to relate to that. And simplicity, this is what Mindset Solutions is about. Number one, the first step is I will help you to be aware of what's going on. Awareness. And in that awareness, there's a process that is called decluttering. Now, decluttering is being able to identify the thoughts that you have in your thinking that no longer have relevance in your own life. Now, what happens is that you have what you call approved sources of influence, which contribute primarily to your structure of thinking, like your parents and friends, like your teachers at school, like the leading industry, the leaders in the industry, or the religious leaders. If you are somebody who is a person of faith, your pastors, your priests, whoever it is that is a person of influence in that sphere, and these are constantly contributing to the way you think. Now, approved sources of influence have a high trust factor, which basically means that they have a history and a credibility, and they've proven themselves to be trustworthy. So when they're speaking and contributing towards your thinking, you don't exercise any cognitive awareness of what they're saying, and you don't rationalize in any way. It just goes straight into your subconscious, becoming part of your structure of thinking and having that impact and influence on your life. Now imagine if you are continuing on in your life with thoughts that no longer are applicable to what you're trying to achieve, that you've come across new information that you know is relevant to what you're trying to achieve. If that new information is not well developed, the more developed mindset which you have received from your approved sources of influence will take over, intercept your thinking, and sabotage whatever it is that you're trying to do. Because the most powerful and dominant mindsets are the ones that will eventually take over your thinking, and that will eventually communicate clear, concise, precise instruction to your brain, and your brain will send that to your body, and that's exactly what your body is going to do. And in return, your body will send back that positive outcome, and so the cycle continues. Decluttering is important to identify those thoughts which are no longer relevant in your life, and then to be able to identify the kind of thoughts that you need to build towards your life. Once you've done that, you can reorganize your thoughts. Second step, reorganize your thoughts to be able to serve the missions, the visions, the dreams, the desires that you have. Thirdly, redirecting those thoughts. Redirecting those thoughts to those particular areas in your lives that you want to be served. And then lastly, it is actioning. So you declutter your thinking, you are aware, you decluttering your thinking, you reorganize your thinking, you redirect your thinking, and then you action your thinking. So in other words, you build strong mindsets that can be able to communicate clear, concise, precise instructions to your brain, sending it to your body, and then your body then follows this precise, concise, clear instructions from your brain, and then in return gives back the feedback of success or identifies the malfunctions in what has been communicated. And in the process, you continue to improve the process until such time that you have a clear way of thinking that is communicated clearly into your body, and your body then adjusts itself to be able to serve what is being communicated to it. And this entire process then is called reposturing. Now, reposturing in simplicity again is you assume a different way of thinking, a different way of processing your thoughts. When you begin to receive those positive thinking and those positive mindsets that can contribute towards the kind of life that you're trying to create for yourself, you are then able to override so much of this negativity that is coming at you on a daily basis. And Mindset Solutions can also be able to help you to have a practical way of choosing the kind of content that comes into your mind on a daily basis. Unfortunately, we put ourselves as lambs to a slaughter at the altar of these negative platforms, through social media, through what we watch, through some of the friends even that are toxic and so negative around us. We're like literally lambs of slaughter on the altars of negativity, and we wonder why it is that we never have enough energy, enough ability to carry out the things that we're trying to carry out. This is, in short, what Mindset Solutions Framework will do for you. It'll help you to come up with practical ways, looking at the power of language, language coming in, language coming out, looking at whether the approved sources of influence in your life have any relevance anymore in your life, or to what degree they should have relevance, and be able to draw borders as to how far they can go influencing the way that you're thinking. All right? And then also we look at various negative mindsets that can hold you back. People, groups, countries, families, we all have negative mindsets that have become part of the way we think that can hold us back. Mindset Solutions can be able to identify what those negative mindsets are, and then being able to come up and look at the positive mindsets that you need to overcome the negative mindsets, and how to build those positive mindsets, and victory is yours. Every time success is guaranteed. Success is guaranteed. And you'll find yourself being able to get more out of your efforts, being able to get more out of your resources, being able to get more out of anything that you put your mind to get done. I'm looking forward to sharing more and more with you about what mindsets are on this podcast of Mindset Talk. And this is me, your host, Jabu Zwani. I'm available on anchor.fm/mindset-solutions. Also available on Spotify if you look for Mindset Talk, and on Google Podcast and a few other platforms as well. I am on Facebook. And as I've said, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If there's any topics that you'd like me to cover on mindsets, do feel free to send them to me. Have a blessed day.